put enough time and exercise into finding out why students leave. And I would say that that's what needs to be addressed. As much as any other new students coming into town, tuition students, whatever. So we tuition the kid out of town. We pay a lot of property taxes here. I don't need to pay to send my grandchildren to another school.
Okay.
Jody Manson, Young Hill Road. Russ, I understand what you're saying, that it does happen everywhere, but everywhere is not our problem. We're dealing with our school. So to say it happens everywhere, so if your kid comes home and he's doing drugs, and well, it happens everywhere. So what? That's a perception you're giving us, like your kids were throwaway kids. Hey, it happens everywhere. Yours have to be the ones that got sort of that throwaway feeling.
Sorry that you got that
I don't
intent.
think that that's necessarily what he was portraying, but I think that...
Maybe not, but it does come across that way.
Okay.
And again, trying to be respectful, but I think you need to hear both sides.
Yeah, and we did,
And I think we have.
and we are.
Right, and I like
And-
Mr. Ostrom was saying, the fact that when you guys were, I felt in the beginning that maybe you weren't knowledgeable, especially you, Sean, because you and I talked most, and Russ too. I didn't talk with all the board members, obviously. When I first came to you with my issue, I just felt like you probably didn't know what was going on. My problem now, and why I've stuck with this for so long, and why there is an anger there, is the fact that even after you knew, you received almost 30 letters as a board, you received a community survey that reiterated the same thing that those 30 letters
Yeah.
told you, and then you still chose to do nothing. I think that's where the anger comes from.
Yeah, well, that's where I think you've dealt with Russ on that, you've dealt with the board on that, and I think we've handled it in the manner...
There was it never got discussed.
Yeah.
It never got discussed, besides you and I. Those 30 letters never got mentioned, ever. That's where we don't trust you any longer to make good decisions, because once you have that information and you choose to ignore it,
Okay.
you're condoning things.
Okay, we've chosen to do the right thing. We've done things the right way. The board has done things the right way, the way we're supposed to handle things.
By
Russ is-
ignoring the 30 letters is the right way.
Jody, you and I,
We're not-
and again, I don't think we should continue the conversation
is
because
not
it's not
gonna-
going to get us anywhere because we're
Right.
rehashing something that's been over and over.
Right.
There are personnel decisions that you will not be privy to and that you can't be privy to.
And unfortunately,
No,
there's...
People get results when they have an issue. That's, when you have that kind of feedback and you still choose not to listen to it, what are people
That is your
supposed to do?
opinion, Jody. You
Right.
feel that we are not doing things properly. This board right here is
No, my
doing things the
opinion-
manner that we
no,
need.
I don't want you to take my opinion. I want you to take the facts of 30 letters and that community survey that you guys wanted to do. Why didn't that get taken into consideration? If that's not an opinion, that's,
All of those things were taken into consideration, Jody. This board is only going to handle things at a certain level. Those letters get sent to
okay.
Russ.
So, all right, so
We're
what you're
not-
telling me is that it got taken into consideration so you condone
I don't know
the
how
actions
many
that
times I have to
happened.
explain to you the do's and the don'ts of what this board is supposed
Well,
to
as
do.
many times as I ask you is how many times you have to explain it to me.
Well, and I've told you once, I've told you, I don't know, 6 or
And
7
you may
times
have to
during
tell
this
me 10
meeting.
more
And-
times.
Stop it.
What
And I'm
saying
not
is,
going to get into
if you
this
didn't take
meeting.
actions, what you're telling me is
Jody,
you condoned it?
At this meeting, we are not going to conduct the kind of thing that you're talking about. It's not going to happen.
Like I said,
That's
I'm
not
trying
where
to be
you discuss
respectful,
this
Sean.
kind of
Can you just
information.
answer my question then?
If you want to take and you want to discuss it with Russ as far as what went on with your kiddo, that's fine.
No, it's not my.
It's not
my kid
here.
was taken
This is
care of.
not where you
guys took care
discuss
of my
that.
kid.
And I'm not going to get into it anymore. We're not going to have these
Okay.
meetings, we're not going to do this every time we meet here. The school board is going to conduct business.
If I come to the meeting and I speak at public forum, we can do that. Sean.
You cannot if it's not on the agenda, and it's not on the agenda. I think what you're talking about is something that's already been discussed, and we're not going to be
But you
talking about it
haven't
every
answered the
time.
question, I think that's why it keeps getting brought up.
So we're
So what
shutting...
happened was okay, is my question.
No, we're done.
No, we're done. We're done. So, unfortunately,
Lee Ostrom, I have the same question. We have 2 grandchildren that love this school. They loved their teachers. But there were issues, and those issues were ignored. And our granddaughter said, I am flatly not going to school. I'm not being pushed. I'm not being kicked. I'm not being this, and people ignore it. Not my teachers. They love their teachers. They were very happy here. We were happy. Our grandchildren were happy. But they were taken out because nothing was done. I don't understand that. These kids did not make this up. My granddaughter did not make this up. This happened. This is a discipline action that should have been taken, was not taken. So because of it, it has cost our family a lot of money, but we have very happy and very well-adjusted grandchildren because of it. But we live in this community. We love Sunapee. But we're beginning to question what goes on, because our daughter, Jody, many of the people that have had issues, these were great students in this school at one time, and nobody wants to listen to what they have to say. I don't understand that. I don't. So,
Okay.
and I guess I don't trust what goes on anymore.
I don't know how to answer that. Alls I know is we're doing what we can. We're working, the board is working the way the board needs to work. If you need to bring forward issues to Russ, you need to bring them forward.
Can I just say something?
I would just comment that I think the board should pay more attention to the public input. I mean, to sit out here and watch you have a board meeting, which is great, because it's nice to see how everything operates. But I think there's a place for public input into these decisions as you move forward. It might be beneficial to you. For instance, what's going on with the new school renovation, you know how much time was spent on it the last time. There's a lot of data as to where it ended up. And why you wouldn't at least express that to the community and get some input back from the community. I mean, I just sat here and watched the whole thing. There wasn't one question back to the community as to what happened last time. Why wouldn't you ask the community and people that were involved in it last time what happened, how it proceeded, how it ended up?
Bill, we're going to. We just formed a committee. The committee's going to get together, they're going to discuss it, and then they're going to reach out to the people that were on that
I just don't understand why there
committee.
can't be some comment from the public. I
At the
don't know
time-
what
at
you're
the time
afraid
of
of.
discussion.
If you're afraid of public comment because it's controversial, that's against our democratic rights.
We're not afraid of public comment, Bill.
My suggestion is the board should open up these issues to public comment. They don't need to be
At the time of
15-minute long
discussion.
dissertations, but a 5-minute or a 2-minute comment from somebody in the public may be beneficial to you when you make your decisions.
It's on the agenda, so we go to comment about it.
Do you want to comment on it, Bill?
It's
Do you
on
want- do you
it's
want
on
to
the
comment on
agenda,
it?
so you're welcome to comment on it, because it is on the agenda.
Because that's what the public forum's for. We just have the second phase of the public forum. So if you want to comment on anything that was talked about,
In that
now is your
regard,
time. So I don't
my
guess I don't
suggestion
understand.
would be, go right back to that last committee, or the results of that last committee. There's a wealth of information there.
And that's what I said. I
That's
said
what
we
we're
don't
voting
need to
to do.
reinvent the wheel. But now that you're saying it again, which I appreciate that, I'm glad you did say that. But now is your time, now is the public's time to get up here and talk about what we discussed during our meeting. And I appreciate what you say.
I think the comment would have been beneficial if it was while you were having the discussion. It's maybe the format of the board. Maybe the board should look at the format.
This,
Mayor, that's on the
It's
policy.
fine. I mean, that's the way the policy is. We've been doing this format for the past 10, 15 years. So this last year, I guess the part of the audience doesn't like the way the format's running. I don't know. I don't know what to say, because it's been running this way for at least 15 years, the way it's been going here. The only thing that's different is we added the public forum at the end of the meeting, because people that started showing up said they would like to have some say at the end. So we said, okay, well, why don't we, instead of having the public forum and taking it away from the front and putting it to the back, we have two of them now.
And I agree, I think that was a wonderful thing to do, because now the public doesn't have to wait to get on the agenda for the next meeting to reiterate what we talked about at this meeting. So I think that was a good move.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody has not been denied to get on the agenda.
I was.
It, it,
But it was,
Yes.
again,
it's,
Greg, come
again,
on.
it was a different,
It was a student
if it
issue.
was something personal or something
Student
else,
issue.
then yes, it's not going to. So I don't know why you want to go down that road, but if it's something that has anything to do with personnel or whatnot, we can't bring it forward. And that's where Russ has to stand that. I mean, I'm not the one that's going to say that if it's personnel, we can't deal with it, but Russ is the one that has to monitor that. That's all. I can't be the one to say that. Okay, anybody else have any